Hi, everyone. Welcome to English Over Tea, your English learning channel. I'm Anna.
And I'm Dan.
Oh, Dan, before we even get into the tea or the English or, well, anything today, you won't believe the absolute disaster I had yesterday afternoon. I'm still a little embarrassed just thinking about it.
Oh boy, here we go. You look like you've been holding that story in since you walked through the door. What happened? Did you accidentally wear two different shoes again?
No, though that has happened more than once. No, I was at the park with my friend, Sarah. We were having a lovely time, right? Just sitting on the grass. But then she looked at her phone and her face it just fell. She started tearing up, like actually crying. And I totally panicked, Dan. I didn't know what to do. My brain just went into this weird emergency mode and I blurted out, "Hey, come on, don't cry. It's probably not that bad, right? Look at the birds."
Wait, Anna, you told her to look at the birds while she was crying? Oh no, you did the classic, please stop being emotional move.
I know, it was terrible. I just wanted to help, but I was so worried she was upset at me or that I'd said something wrong. But she just gave me this look like I had 3 heads and 0 brains.
I can literally see that look in my mind. So, what was she actually crying about? Was it a broken heart, a lost job?
Turns out it was her pet hamster. It ran away. Well, technically, it escaped its cage while her mom was cleaning it.
No way, a runaway hamster? That sounds like a plot for a children's movie, The Great Hamster Escape.
Right? A serious adventure for such a tiny ball of fluff. But see, because I told her, don't cry, she got even more upset. She thought I didn't care about her feelings or her hamster. I totally failed the friend test in that moment because I wasn't being, well, what we're talking about today. I wasn't using my emotional intelligence.
Ah, the perfect transition. And honestly, Anna, don't feel too bad. I've been there. I remember once a friend failed a huge exam, and I said, well, at least she didn't fail the whole year. I thought I was being logical and helpful, but he just walked away. I felt like a total jerk.
Exactly. We've all been there. And that's why today's episode is so special. Today, we are talking all about emotional intelligence, or EI, or sometimes people call it EQ for emotional quotient.
Yeah, and for everyone listening, this isn't just about big psychology words. By the end of this episode, you're going to learn exactly what emotional intelligence is, why it's actually more important than your IQ for success in life, and most importantly, you'll get practical tips on how to improve it every single day.
Whether you're a student, a professional, or just someone trying to navigate your family dinner without an argument, this is for you. And hey, if you're new here and want to keep improving your English with these real-life topics, please do us a huge favor. Hit that like button, leave a comment about your own emotional fail, and subscribe to help our channel grow. It really helps us keep the tea brewing and the mics on.
Definitely. So, Anna, let's dive in. Emotional intelligence. It sounds, I don't know, a bit textbooky, doesn't it? Like something a professor in a suit would say.
Haha, totally. But in easy words, emotional intelligence just means being smart with your feelings. It's about knowing your own emotions, understanding them, and also understanding how other people feel. It's like a superpower for your social life.
I like that. Being smart with feelings. Because, in school we learn math, we learn history, we learn how to calculate the area of a circle. But no one ever sits you down and says, okay, Dan, here is how to not snap at your brother when you're tired.
Exactly. Traditionally, people thought intelligence was just about problem solving and memory. But researchers found that kids who could, for example, resist the temptation to eat a piece of candy right away, the famous marshmallow test, actually became more successful later in life. That ability to control an impulse, that's EI.
So it's not just about how many facts you know, but how well you handle yourself and your relationships.
Precisely. And experts usually break it down into 5 key parts: self-awareness, self-regulation, motivation, empathy, and social skills.
Okay, let's start with the first one, self-awareness. This sounds like looking in a mirror, but for your brain?
That's a perfect way to put it. Self-awareness is the foundation. It means you know what you're feeling and why. For example, have you ever woken up and just felt, like you're angry at the world for no reason?
Oh, you mean every Monday morning? I'm like a grump monster until I have my coffee.
Exactly. But a person with high self-awareness can stop and think, wait, why am I feeling like this? Am I actually mad at the world, or am I just tired because I stayed up too late watching Netflix?
Right. So instead of yelling at my roommate because they left a spoon in the sink, I realize the problem is me and my lack of sleep. That's actually really helpful. It prevents a lot of unnecessary fights.
It really does. It's about recognizing the emotion as it arises. If you don't know you're angry, you can't choose how to respond. You just react like a robot.
I've definitely been a reactive robot before. It's not a good look. So self-awareness is noticing the feeling, but what comes next? Is it just about knowing I'm a grump?
Not quite. That's where the second part comes in, but we'll get into the details of managing those feelings as we go. It's a journey, Dan. It's like learning English. You don't get perfect in one day. You have to practice observing your reactions every single day.
Practice, yeah. I guess I have a lot of practice to do with my Monday monster moods. But it's good to know it's a skill we can grow, not something you're just born with.
Oh, don't worry, Dan. You're definitely not alone in the Monday Monster Club. But see, that's where the second part of emotional intelligence comes in. Once you've used that self-awareness to look in the mirror and say, okay, I'm actually just a grump because I'm tired, you have to do something with that information. That's called self-regulation.
Self-regulation. Okay. So that's like being the boss of your own reactions?
Exactly. It's about controlling your emotions in a healthy way. We all feel angry, upset, or just totally frustrated sometimes. That's just being human. But how we react to those feelings is what matters. A person with high self-regulation doesn't just yell or start a fight because they feel a spark of anger. Instead, they take a deep breath, stay calm, and think before they act.
I mean, it sounds simple when you say it like that, Anna. But in the moment when someone, I don't know, says something rude to you, it's hard to not just, snap back, you know?
Oh, it's incredibly hard. But that's why we call it a skill. It's like a muscle you have to train. In the world of neuroscience, they call it avoiding the amygdala hijack.
Amygdala what? That sounds like a high-tech spy movie.
It kind of is. The amygdala is like the emotional alarm system in your brain. When you're stressed or angry, it sounds the alarm and wants you to fight, flee, or freeze. It reacts in a split second, but your thinking brain, the prefrontal cortex, is a bit slower. Self-regulation is basically giving your thinking brain a few extra seconds to catch up so you don't do something you'll regret 5 minutes later.
Nods. So that's why everyone always says count to 10 or take a deep breath. It's not just a cliche, it's literally giving your brain a chance to reboot.
Precisely. A short pause can save you from a long regret. It's the difference between being a reactive robot and being the leader of your own life. Instead of letting the waves of your emotions control where your ship goes, you become the captain.
I like that metaphor. I'm definitely trying to be more of a captain and less of a piece of driftwood. So if I manage to stay calm and not yell at my roommate for eating my yogurt, what's next on the EI list?
The yogurt test, that's a classic. Well, the third part is motivation. And in the world of emotional intelligence, we aren't just talking about working for a paycheck or a gold star. We're talking about intrinsic motivation, being driven by your own inner goals and values.
Oh, so it's like doing things because you actually want to grow, not just because someone is pushing you.
Exactly. A motivated person keeps going even when things are difficult or they face problems. For example, think about everyone listening right now who's learning English. It's hard. You make mistakes, you might feel nervous when you speak, or you might want to give up when the grammar gets confusing.
Tell me about it. Sometimes I feel like my brain is just full.
Oh, we've all been there. But emotional intelligence helps you stay focused and hopeful. Instead of thinking, I can't do this, a motivated person says, I'm learning and I'm doing my best. They set small, achievable goals like learning 5 new words today, and they celebrate that progress.
So it's about that positive mindset, even when life feels a bit heavy?
Yes, it's the energy that pushes you forward. High EQ people don't wait to feel inspired to take action. They act because they have a purpose, even on the days when they'd rather just stay in bed and watch cartoons.
Okay, you caught me. Some days the cartoon motivation is very strong. But I see what you mean. If you control your emotions, you don't just deal with life, you actually create the life you want.
That's so powerful, Dan. You create it. And when you aren't constantly exhausted by your own emotional drama or fighting with everyone around you, you have so much more energy to be creative and successful.
It's like clearing the clutter out of your brain so you can actually think straight.
Perfectly said. So we've looked at the inside parts of emotional intelligence: self-awareness, self-regulation, and motivation. These are all about your relationship with yourself. But humans are social creatures. We don't live in bubbles.
Most of the time, anyway. Though some days a bubble sounds quite nice. So now we're looking at how we deal with other people.
Exactly. We're moving to the outward parts of the EI house. And the first one is a big one. It's a word people use a lot, but they don't always know how to do it. It's empathy.
Empathy. Right. That's putting yourself in someone else's shoes.
Yes, but it's more than just a phrase. It's actually trying to understand and feel what another person is experiencing. Exactly, Dan. Empathy is often called the heart of emotional intelligence. It's about putting yourself in someone else's shoes, trying to really feel what they're feeling.
Right. But I always get confused here. Is empathy the same thing as sympathy? Because I hear people use them like they're the same word all the time.
That is such a good question. Actually, there's a big difference. Sympathy is like looking down at someone in a hole and saying, "Oh, I'm so sorry you're in that hole. That looks bad." You're standing at a distance. But empathy? Empathy is like climbing down into the hole with them and saying, "I know what it's like down here, and you're not alone."
Wow, okay. So when you told your friend don't cry about her hamster, you were maybe being a bit sympathetic, but not really empathetic?
Exactly. I was standing at the edge of the hole telling how the view of the birds was better. If I had been empathetic, I would have just sat there and said, "I know how much that little guy meant to you, and I'm so sorry he's gone." Sometimes people don't need a fix or a joke. They just need to feel heard and felt.
It's funny you say that, Anna, because I think in our modern worlds, we're always, looking at our phones or thinking about what we're going to say next.
It's like we've forgotten how to just be there.
You hit the nail on the head. Experts call this being fully present. It's actually an endangered skill. To really practice empathy, you have to ignore your phone, put away the laptop, and stop your thought train. You have to use your active listening skills, nodding, making eye contact, and showing curiosity without judging.
Active listening. Yeah, I guess it's like listening with your heart, not just your ears.
Precisely. And there's actually some really cool science behind this. Our brains have these things called mirror neurons. When we see someone else feeling an emotion, these neurons mirror that feeling inside us. It's like an internal simulation of their experience. High EQ people have very active mirror neurons because they practice paying attention to those subtle cues, like a slight shift in someone's voice or a quiet sigh.
Whistle. Man, our brains are amazing. So if I start practicing this listening thing, does that lead us to the fifth part of the EI house? What was it? Social skills?
You got it. Social skills are where the other four parts, self-awareness, regulation, motivation, and empathy, all come together. It's how we use our emotional understanding to build healthy relationships, manage groups, and handle disagreements gracefully.
Okay, so it's basically not being the person everyone avoids at a party.
Having good social skills is part of that, but it's much deeper. It's about building rapport and trust. Someone with good social skills knows how to communicate their vision clearly, resolve conflicts, and make others feel valued. It's not just about talking a lot, it's about making others feel respected and understood.
So, let's say I'm at school or in a meeting at work. How does this actually, help me get ahead? Does it actually make me more successful than the guy who just has the high IQ and knows all the facts?
Actually, yes. There's a famous example often used to explain this. Imagine two people, Maya and Jordan. They both have the same impressive degrees and the same technical skills. But in the interview, Jordan is rigid. He gives precise, technically perfect answers, but he misses the human element. He doesn't notice the manager's tired eyes or subtle body language.
And let me guess, Maya is the EI superstar.
Exactly. Maya walks in with a warm smile. She notices the manager looks busy and starts by acknowledging their time. She adapts her tone to the situation. In the end, Maya gets the job. The deciding factor wasn't her brain power, it was her high EI.
So IQ might get you in the door, but EQ is what helps you stay, grow, and lead once you're inside.
Exactly. In fact, some studies suggest that for top leadership roles, about 80 to 90% of the difference between a good leader and a great leader is emotional intelligence, not technical skill.
Wow, that is a huge percentage. Wow. So whether we're talking about a classroom project or a big corporate boardroom, the rules are the same. You have to understand the emotional field of the room.
Yes, and that leads us to a really important realization. We often think emotions don't belong at work or school, that we should leave them at the door, but it's actually impossible. We are emotional creatures.
Yeah, I tried leaving my emotions at the door once, but they just followed me in and ate my lunch.
Exactly. The key isn't to ignore them, but to use them as data. If you can read the data of your own feelings and the feelings of your team, you can make way better decisions. It's like having a high-tech GPS for your social life.
I love that. Emotion as data. It makes it feel less scary and more like a tool I can master.
It really is a tool, and we're going to keep unpacking how that tool works in our daily lives, especially when things get a little, stressful. That's exactly it, Dan. It's about taking those lunch-eating emotions and turning them into useful information. But now, I bet everyone is thinking, okay, Anna and Dan, this all sounds great, but how do I actually do it? How do we move from just talking about emotional intelligence to actually building that muscle?
Yeah, because it's not like memorizing historical dates or multiplication tables where you just, learn it once and you're done. It's a far more dynamic process, kind of like learning a musical instrument or training for a sport. You have to practice your scales every day until they become second nature.
Mm-hmm. Precisely. And the first practical tool is one we mentioned briefly, but it is so powerful: labeling your emotions. Neuroscience shows that just naming what you're feeling, literally saying it out loud or in your head, reduces the intensity of that emotion. It's called affect labeling.
Oh, wait, so if I'm in traffic and I'm about to lose it and I just say, I am feeling really frustrated right now, it actually calms the brain down?
Yes, it's like turning on a light in a dark room. Instead of saying, I'm just stressed, try to be specific. Say, I feel overwhelmed because I'm afraid I won't finish this project on time. The more specific your vocabulary, the more clarity you gain. And with clarity comes control.
I guess I need to expand my Monday Monster vocabulary then. But another really cool thing I read about in the sources is the 90-second rule. Apparently, when an emotion is triggered, there's only a 90-second chemical process in the body. After that, if we're still angry, it's because we're choosing to replay the story in our heads.
Wow, only 90 seconds? That's so short. So if we can just ride the wave for a minute and a half without reacting, the hijack starts to fade?
Exactly. It's like a biological pause button. You take a deep breath, count to 10, and let that chemical storm pass through you before you send that angry text or snap at your roommate.
I love that. Ride the wave. And to help with this, one expert suggested a really funny but useful trick. Set an alarm on your phone for 11 a.m. and 3 p.m. When it goes off, you just stop and ask, what emotion am I feeling right now?
My 3 p.m. alarm would definitely just say, I am feeling hungry and I want a cookie. But I see the point. It's about building self-awareness during the quiet moments so you're ready for the loud ones.
Exactly. And if you want to take it a step further, start a feelings journal. Just a few short sentences before bed about what made you happy or stressed that day. It helps you see patterns like, oh, I always get grumpy after I spend 2 hours scrolling on social media.
Guilty as charged. Social media is an emotional battlefield, isn't it? We see these perfect lives and our brain immediately goes into comparison mode.
It really does. But that's where we use that reframing skill. Instead of thinking, everyone is more successful than me, you can say, people only post their best moments. I'm doing my best on my own journey. You change the meaning and you change the emotion.
Mm-hmm. So we've talked about managing ourselves, but what about that empathy piece? How do we get better at reading other people, especially when they're being difficult?
Well, it starts with being fully present. In our busy worlds, we often listen just to reply, not to understand. To really practice empathy, you have to put your phone away, look the person in the eyes, and stop your thought train.
Stop the thought train. I like that. Instead of thinking about what I'm going to say next, I'm actually listening to them.
Exactly. And use a magic phrase like, tell me more. It invites them to open up or ask, do you want advice or do you just want me to listen?
That is such a good question because sometimes I dive straight into fix-it mode when my sister's upset, and she just gets more annoyed at me.
We all do it, but emotional intelligence is about recognizing that sometimes people just need to feel heard. It's about using your social skills to make others feel respected and safe.
So it's really like being the captain of your own ship, but also making sure you don't crash into everyone else's boats.
Exactly. You're navigating the emotional field of the room. And the best part is, even if you're naturally shy or an introvert, you can be a superstar at this. Introverts are often amazing at deep listening and careful observation, which are core EI skills.
That's actually really encouraging to hear. It's not about being the loudest person at the party, it's about being the most aware.
Precisely. And as you practice these small habits, pausing, labeling, listening, you actually start to rewire your brain through neuroplasticity. You're strengthening the connection between your thinking brain and your feeling brain.
Man, I love science. So we're basically becoming emotional athletes training every single day.
We are. And while we might trip or say the wrong thing sometimes, we just get back up and try again because every interaction is just another chance to practice. Wow, Dan, we have really covered a lot of ground today. I feel like my brain is both full and a little more peaceful, you know? Like I have a better map for my own head.
Same here, Anna. Though I'm still thinking about that 3 p.m. alarm. I think my alarm is going to tell me that I'm feeling highly motivated to find a chocolate chip cookie. Is cookie motivation a valid emotional state?
I think that falls under intrinsic motivation, Dan. But seriously, if we look back at everything we talked about, it all comes down to that one phrase we started with, being smart with your feelings.
Right. We looked at the big five: self-awareness, noticing the grumpiness; self-regulation, noticing the amygdala hijacked and breathing through it; motivation, staying hopeful even when English grammar feels like a mountain; empathy, really sitting in the hole with your friend and their hamster; and social skills, using all that to actually build trust with others.
And I think the most important thing for all our English learners to remember is that emotional intelligence is a skill, not a trait. You aren't just born empathetic or born calm. It's like learning to play the guitar or, well, learning English. You practice your skills, you make mistakes, and you get better over time.
Yeah, that's a really hopeful thought. It means we aren't stuck with our bad habits. We can actually rewire our brains. And for those of you listening, as you improve your EI, your English journey actually gets easier. Why? Because you'll have more resilience when you make a mistake. You won't let a bad speaking day ruin your motivation.
Exactly. You become the captain of your own ship. The waves, the frustration, the nervousness, they will still come, but you don't let the waves decide where you're going.
I love that captain metaphor. I'm definitely going to try the 90-second rule next time someone cuts me off in traffic. I'll just ride the wave for a minute and a half and see if I still feel like a monster.
I'll believe it when I see it. But before we wrap up today's tea session, we want to give you all a gentle challenge.
Ooh, I like challenges. What is it?
Tomorrow, just once, choose one small moment when you feel a strong emotion. Maybe you're nervous about a meeting or you're annoyed at a text message, and just pause. Don't react, just name it. Say, I am feeling frustrated, and take 3 deep breaths. That's it. Just 1 rep in the emotional gym.
1 rep. I can do that. And hey, while you're doing your emotional push-ups, let us know in the comments which part of today's episode helped you the most. Was it the Maya versus Jordan story, the amygdala hijack, or Dan's cookie cravings? We really love hearing from you.
We really do. Your comments help us know what topics you want to learn next. And if you found this helpful for your English and your life, please hit that like button and subscribe. It really helps our channel grow so we can keep making these episodes for you.
Definitely. And don't forget to share this with a friend who might need a little hamster-level empathy today.
Oh, Sarah, I promise I've apologized to her already. She and I are good, and she eventually found the hamster. He was hiding in a boot the whole time.
A happy ending for the hamster. See, emotional intelligence leads to great outcomes.
It really does. Thank you all for joining us for English Over Tea. Listen and speak. It's been a joy.
Yeah, thanks for listening, everyone. Remember, IQ might get you the job, but EQ is what makes you a leader.
Keep learning, keep growing, and most importantly, keep being kind to yourselves.
Take care of those emotions, guys. Bye for now.
Goodbye.